Right. So to really get what's happening here, we need to start with something that never changes, a simple, unchangeable fact, where Greenland is on the globe.
So just look at where it is. Greenland is basically this giant, unavoidable bridge sitting right between North America and Europe. And because the Earth is a sphere, the shortest way to get from one to the other, for planes, both commercial flights and military ones, is to fly right over or very close to it. This means that in any kind of global competition, owning that northern corridor, well, it's absolutely critical.
Now, this whole idea of Greenland's strategic value, it isn't new. It's just that its importance really got switched on, you could say, on a global scale during the Cold War.
And the reason for that is pretty simple, actually. It's about intercontinental missiles. These are the ballistic weapons that arc way up, outside the atmosphere. They don't care about borders, they just follow the laws of physics. So, the shortest path from, say, Russia to North America isn't a straight line across the Atlantic on a flat map. Nope, it's a curve right over the North Pole. And that fact, just that simple piece of physics, turned the Arctic into the main highway for any potential nuclear attack.
And that's exactly why the United States built its massive Thule air base in Greenland. It wasn't a political choice, it was a physical necessity. There was simply no better place to put an early warning radar system to spot those incoming missiles. So just like that, Greenland became this essential, non-negotiable piece of the puzzle for American defense. It was a fortress, yeah, but one chosen by physics.
And for decades, that was pretty much the story, a frozen fortress. But now, a whole new force is entering the equation, and it's changing everything. Climate change is literally redrawing the map of the Arctic right before our eyes. And you can see that transformation happening. The melting ice is turning Greenland from this static, frozen wall, strategic but kind of passive, into a totally dynamic operational zone. All of a sudden, new routes and new resources are opening up. So what's the first big consequence? Well, it's immediate. We're seeing new, much shorter shipping routes opening up. Think of them as new arteries of trade connecting Asia, Europe, and North America in ways that were impossible before. The very ice that used to be a roadblock is now creating a global shortcut. But listen, this great melt, it's not just about opening up new routes on the surface of the water. It's also giving us access to an incredible amount of value that's been locked away under that ice for thousands of years. Which, of course, leads to the big question, what is actually down there?
Well, it turns out that underneath all that ice, Greenland is sitting on huge deposits of rare earth elements, uranium, and all sorts of other minerals that are absolutely essential for the future economy. We're talking about the building blocks for things like batteries, wind turbines, and all our advanced electronics. And here's the crucial part. The real game isn't about mining it all today. It's about who gets to control the future supply of these incredibly critical resources.
So, let's put it all together. You've got newly accessible shipping routes and brand new available resources. What do you think happens next? The inevitable result, of course, is geopolitical competition. A new great game has officially begun, and the playing field is the Arctic.
And you can see the two main players are approaching this with totally different playbooks. On one side, you have China. They're calling themselves a near-Arctic state, and they're playing the long game, focusing on economic access by investing in infrastructure and research. Then you have the US. They're falling back on their historic security role, basically trying to make sure no rivals can get a strategic foothold right in their northern backyard. So when you boil it all down, if there's one single idea to walk away with, it's this. Greenland's importance isn't actually new. It was always there, just dormant. You could say that geography stored the island's value, and now climate change is the key that's finally unlocking it. The very same frozen landscape that was once a barrier is now the gateway. And that is setting the stage for a whole new era of global competition. Subscribe for more. Cognitive pleasure.